Public transportation like this could cease operations February 13th unless additional funding is found. I'm Ty Parks, so I'll be speaking with somebody from SEKCAP as well as a writer about what this means to the community. I'll have that story coming up.
Local law enforcement departments are urging drivers to make smart decisions on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll have more on that coming up.
And Vision Carthage is doing good, transforming their community one project at a time.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Crawford County may soon hit the brakes on public transportation. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bonk. The Southeast Kansas bus service needs $144,000 by February 13th, or riders lose their lifeline. KOAM's Ty Parks spoke with CCAP officials about the funding crisis.
Southeast Kansas Community Action Program has provided general transportation rides to Crawford County for years for people like Geneva Gary.
It is very important because I don't have a car and I can't get around without the PAC bus.
Funding for the transportation is paid 70% from state and federal funding, and the remaining 30% is made up from donation, says the transportation director, Scott Christensen.
The matching funds that we received have gotten us this far, and without additional matching funds to cover the gap to get to June 30th, we'll have to suspend services.
The amount needed is $144,000 to get them to June 30th. All the money pledged to the ride service will be exhausted by February 13th. Riders are making plans in case the rides stop.
Yeah, I walk or I get friends to take me.
Chief Executive Director James Whitney says these buses are needed to get people to their doctor's appointment as well as other important places.
Is that they bring money into the community. It isn't just low-income people using a service and not contributing to anything. These people are coming here to do their business, and it's a very vital service that we provide. Not only does it bring people to the service, but then it also brings that money to the community. So, and not only that, the services that we operate within that county and within those communities, we do all our maintenance work there, we buy the fuel there.
In Pittsburgh, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
CCAP is meeting with several business, government, and hospital leaders to help raise the money for the rides. Early voting is underway for the Miami school bond election. The Miami Public School District is asking voters to approve a $15.7 million bond issue for safety improvements and facility upgrades. The bond would build a new lower elementary school at the current Will Rogers Middle School site, make significant upgrades to Nichols Upper Elementary, and renovate the Miami Innovation Center. There would be no projected tax increase. Voters can go to the community room at the courthouse annex again tomorrow to vote from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Election day is next Tuesday. Polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Meteorologist Austin Stantz joins us now with a first look at weather.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. Check this out. 62 degrees, our high for today. We hit that at 3:53 this afternoon. Our average high 47, so well above that. We weren't too far away from the record set back in 1963, which was 69 degrees. Planning your evening for tonight, what you can expect, 41 degrees here by the time we reach 10 o'clock, falling into the 30s as we start heading into those late evening hours, 37 there by midnight. Clear skies expected for tonight. Temperatures above normal, winds out of the west around 5 to 10 miles per hour. We will see things start to become a little bit more breezy as we're heading into tomorrow, but temperatures also going to warm up, so it's going to be warm and breezy out there. I still think we are going to break into the 60s for your Friday. We're going to see this heat continue to drive into the 4 states region over the next several days. We'll talk about how warm it's going to get and how long it'll stick around coming up.
All right, thanks, Austin. Super Bowl Sunday typically sees a rise in DUI arrest, with drivers getting behind the wheel after drinking too much. KOAM's Kenny Foreman spoke with a couple of local law enforcement officers to find out what they'll be monitoring and what drivers should keep in mind.
The Chiefs might not be participating this year, but that's likely not going to deter many folks from throughout the 4 states from enjoying their Super Bowl parties and perhaps having a few drinks. This, of course, is prompting many local law enforcement departments to be on high alert for potential drunk drivers.
We're always out patrolling, always looking for impaired drivers, so we're watching for minor traffic violations to kind of give us clues if they're impaired. And we'd make our traffic stops from that and kind of go and judge impairment after that.
The common consensus here: know who's taking you home,
or simply don't drink if you know you're going to be driving.
You have a game plan. You can either have a designated driver, call an Uber or a taxi, but before you go, have a game plan. If you feel like you're too inebriated to drive, you more than likely are.
Assistant Chief Stever also encourages pedestrians to be on high alert as well.
Just use the sidewalks. I would say, don't walk out in the middle of the roadway if you can. If you're a pedestrian, use your designated sidewalks. You're always safer using a sidewalk versus walking out on the street.
As Patrol Lieutenant Miller sums up, it only takes one poor decision to lead to tragic repercussions.
The consequences obviously are jail time, paying fines, losing your license, but on the severe end, like you could take somebody's life. An innocent person could lose their life from a decision that you make while you're drinking. So we also want to avoid any of those consequences.
Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
In the state of Missouri, first-time DUI offenses can typically carry fines between $5,000 and $10,000 and possible jail time. Well, Super Bowl fans are tightening their wallets this year. A new survey from Lending Tree shows 80% of Americans plan to watch the big game, up from 75% last year. But those viewers plan to spend $129 on average, down from $140. The reason? Life costs more.
Life's really expensive in 2026, and a lot of people have decided that if they have to dial back on something, maybe having a little bit less extravagant of a Super Bowl watching experience might be one of those things that they're willing to pull back on.
Matt?
Well, Schultz says fans are still spending on traditional Super Bowl items like food, drinks, clothing, and streaming. When it comes to why people watch, less than half say it's for the actual game. 51% tune in for other reasons, including the halftime show, commercials, and family time. Well, coming up, a call for a public hearing.
Hillary Clinton says she and Bill Clinton are ready to testify about Jeffrey Epstein with cameras rolling. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
But up first, a flu resurgent prompts Moderna to develop a new vaccine for seniors. Flu cases are ramping up after weeks of decline, while Moderna works on a new vaccine that will help protect the older generation. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Suri reports.
After 3 weeks of declines, the flu is coming back in a big way. The CDC reports infections are up 18% nationwide. Right now, 41 states are reporting high or moderate levels of flu activity. That's down from a peak of 49 in December. But a new strain of influenza A is sending folks back to hospitals in big numbers.
We were seeing a lot of emergency room visits, which is to be expected. We were seeing a lot of people are coming in very sick.
ERs and doctors' offices are starting to get overwhelmed once again, and health officials are pleading with folks to take precautions such as hand washing and face masks, and also stay alert for flu-like symptoms.
We highly recommend that if people are feeling sick, if they've got a fever, cough, shortness of breath, runny nose, especially this month, they go and get tested.
And of course, most doctors say the best way to protect yourself is with a vaccine. And if you haven't gotten one yet, it's not too late to roll up your sleeve.
This is a bad flu season, and when the numbers are written on this one, people are going to be grateful to have had the protection of the vaccine.
Meanwhile, some drug makers, including Moderna, are using mRNA technology to create new vaccines that will be geared toward older people and those with serious illnesses.
They're older and they have a comorbidity factor. And those are the people that benefit the most, and we are exactly going into that direction.
The CDC says there have been more than 18 million flu cases in the U.S. so far this season. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Austin is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later 500 trout slide down the chute into Fort Scott's Gun Park today. We take you to the restocking event.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Some big changes heading into the forecast, and it all started today, actually. Check this out. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen temperatures well below normal at times. January 24th and 25th, we were more than 30 degrees below average. Only had seen 1 day above average in the past 2 weeks. Now, over the next 10 days, we're going to see temperatures above average and sometimes even well above average. Notice there, February 9th, we're going to see temperatures near 27 degrees above average. What's driving all this warmer weather? Well, take a look at this ridge, massive ridge building off to our west here. We're going to see all the warm air really begin to flow in under this ridge over the next several days. What happens on the opposite side of that? Well, as that ridge rises, it forces the jet stream a little bit further up, even into Canada, which is going to cause the colder air to ride around this ridge, and we're going to see colder air into the upper Midwest, into the northeast there. So a large portion of the United States is seeing a warm up, but off to the northeast, they're actually going to see a polar vortex. So they're going to see much cooler temperatures. Lucky for us here in the 4 states, this warmer air going to continue for the next several days for us. Now, for tonight, temperatures fairly mild out there this evening, still in the 40s here by 10 o'clock. Clear skies out there expected throughout tonight, even as we head into those overnight hours. So if you do want to check out the moon tonight, not a bad night to do that. A great stargazing opportunity. The moon itself is about 84% visible in its waning gibbous phase here. Temperatures are going to fall overnight to around 36 degrees. Clear skies. Our next full moon, March 3rd, that's a Tuesday. Now, heading into Friday, temperatures are going to warm back up for us. Notice by our lunch hour into the upper 50s there. Now, it has us kind of stalling out there. I don't think that's really going to happen. A cold front is pushing through. That's why our winds shift out of the north here. But we have high pressure that's going to eat up a lot of this cloud cover and say, get out of here. And we're still going to be dealing with some sunny skies, still in the 40s as we hit those late evening hours tomorrow night. Now, what could potentially stop us from just breaking 60 degrees? It would be these winds. Check this out. As this front moves in, wind gusts around 30 miles per hour at times across the 4 states, and that really encompasses the whole region until about 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. Now, this weekend, also looking good. 61 degrees on Saturday, 66 on Sunday. It's going to be warm and breezy out there, but we're also going to see Sunday become a bit more cloudy, especially as we head into those evening hours. And what changes beyond the weekend? Well, some minor rain chances arriving. Check this out, 70 degrees on Monday. We get some rain chances beginning to move in late Monday night into Tuesday morning. Things becoming a little bit more widespread as we head into the later portion of the week. You'll notice that cold front really begins to move in as we hit 51 degrees on Thursday, all the way down to 44 by Friday, which is Valentine's Day there. 47 degrees on Saturday, heading into Sunday, 56 degrees. So we're back up after seeing temperatures fall late next week.
Some nice changes there. Well, we've got the perfect way for you to stay on top of severe weather. Scan this QR code with your phone and head straight to the updated weather resources page on our website, where you can find information on storm shelters, weather updates, closings, and road conditions. You can also find tips for watching live streams in real time. It's called the Weather Resource page on KOAMnewsnow.com. Winter fishing season is underway in Kansas. Conservationists spent the afternoon at Gunn Park in Fort Scott restocking Fern Lake with about 600 rainbow trout. They slid the fish down a chute into the water. It's part of a statewide effort to stock more than 30 bodies of water across Kansas. All fish stocked are a catchable size with a few lunkers to give anglers the opportunity to catch a trophy. Despite today's warm temps, the lake's frozen condition did create a unique challenge for the restocking effort.
It takes a lot of planning to prepare for ice like this, and it's so thick right now that I can walk on it. I'm not encouraging anyone to do such a thing, but we've had to cut ice and make a hole so that we can shoot the trout into the pond under the ice.
Well, crews eventually found a thawed portion of the lake to release the fish, avoiding the risk of trout hitting that ice. And the trout season runs December 1st through March 31st. Anglers will need a $20 trout permit and a valid fishing license. Well, coming up next, fighting for funding.
Connected Culture made their way to the Capitol to help advocate for the arts. I'm Nellie Lopez with more details on that coming up.
Art provides an outlet for healing and expression, and now that outlet is a major funding threat in the Show Me State. KOAM's Nellie Lopez spoke with Connect to Culture, who's advocating for arts funding in Jefferson City.
There's so many things that the arts encompass.
But the arts isn't just about a visual aspect, it's about how it can make the community feel.
If you look back at the tornado in 2011, one of the main ways that we found people and students coping was through art, and you can see that just from all of the public art that popped up afterwards, all of the murals and sculptures of people just needing an outlet.
An outlet some use to express more than just feelings is facing a requested funding cut. The Missouri Arts Council is funded through a specific withholding tax called Missouri Non-Resident Athletes and Entertainers Tax.
For example, Connect to Culture, when we have our performers come in that don't live in Missouri, we withhold 2%, and at the end of the quarter, we remit that to the state of Missouri. And now ideally, that would then be appropriated in a specific way, 60% to the Missouri Arts Council and then 40% to the other cultural partners. But every year, it is not fully appropriated in that way.
The governor is requesting to cut the allocated amount of $10.1 million down to approximately $6.9 million, which Emily mentions will be detrimental for all arts in Missouri.
We were advocating for more than a dozen area organizations in Joplin, in Neosho, in Carthage, in Carl Junction, that they also receive funding from the Missouri Arts Council, so they would also feel that huge impact of just the loss of that funding.
Anyone at home right now can make a difference by emailing their local legislators, calling them up, sending snail mail. And they like to hear from their constituents, and the more voices that lend their support to the arts, maybe the better outcome we can have.
In Joplin, Nellie Lopez, KOAM News.
Lawmakers are expected to discuss and vote on the funding issue in May. Well, Joplin will soon join the international community thanks to its bike park. Joplin's Momentum Bike Park joins cycling communities around the world, including Sydney, Australia, Valence, France, Sheffield, England, and Yantai City, China, as host for the 2026 Velo Solutions UCI Pump Track Qualifier events. Pump Track is a fast-paced, head-to-head race which requires riders to navigate the track without pedaling. Joplin will serve as only one of 4 U.S. communities to host these events. Qualifiers take place in Joplin August 15th and 16th. Well, coming up next, Carthage students hit the nail on the head with creativity and steal the show with an idiom costume parade. Fifth graders at the Carthage Intermediate Center are marching to the beat of their own drum, turning learning into a parade using creativity to bring figurative language to life. The project, led by a second-year teacher, challenged students to dress as literal representation of common idioms, thus turning phrases into costumes, such as class clown, under the weather, and hitting the books. The activity ties directly into classroom lessons on idioms while also helping students practice presentation, listening, and communication skills.
So I like to, not blindside kids in presenting to audience and use some fun activities to kind of like break the ice when it comes to being in front of people and presenting something that you worked on. So we also grade some speaking and listening skills, so students need to have some practice in being able to feel comfortable with an audience asking questions.
Well, students were judged on how clearly their costumes represented each phrase, with top entries taking home the gold, or rather, earning various prizes to choose from. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Congress gave itself 2 weeks to figure out reforms to DHS, but will that be enough? I'm Caroline Elliott in New York, and I'll have that story coming up.
And the Clintons agree to testify in the Epstein investigation.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The government shutdown is over, but the Department of Homeland Security could soon lose its funding if lawmakers don't take action. The deadline is just 8 days away, and Democrats and Republicans are nowhere close to a deal. Fox News' Caroline Elliott reports.
Republicans warned Democrats repeatedly that such a short timeline would be challenging, if not impossible.
The Department of Homeland Security is on track to shut down again next week as Democrats and Republicans drag on the fighting over funding.
President Trump knows things have to change. He should lean on Republicans in Congress to work with Democrats and deliver.
The holdup is President Trump's handling of immigration, with ICE operations in Minneapolis at the center of it all.
Shutting down the Department of Homeland Security is minor compared to losing our freedoms.
To reach a deal, Democrats have a long list of demands for ICE, including mandating body cams for federal agents. But some Republicans say that's not the real issue.
The number one reform that we need are no more sanctuary cities. And if they did that, ICE would need to go do raids.
The DHS shutdown would impact everything from ICE to TSA agents at the airport. But some Democrats say they believe the fight is worth it.
A moral and legal hazard to our country of allowing ICE agents to continue to roam through the streets, ransack people's homes.
The deadline is February 14th, and lawmakers are looking to do some heavy negotiations before then. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent faces another day of questioning as Congress puts affordability in the spotlight. Senators grilled Bessent on rising grocery, electricity, and healthcare prices, debating whether the affordability crisis is real or a hoax, as President Trump claimed. Inflation for food and shelter remains high despite lower core inflation. The hearing grew contentious, touching on tariffs, competition with Canada, and even the recent shootings in Minnesota. Former First Lady Hillary Clinton wants to tell Congress what she knows about Jeffrey Epstein, and she wants the public to hear it. She's calling for her Q&A session with lawmakers later this month to be televised. As Fox News' Caroline Shively reports, it's the latest twist in the months-long battle between the Clintons and the House Oversight Committee.
Hillary Clinton says she and husband Bill are ready to testify before Congress in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Posting on social media, "If you want this fight, Representative James Comer, let's have it in public." But Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, has scheduled their depositions behind closed doors.
Depositions have historically been much more substantive than hearings. Hearings are unfortunately have become more of an entertainment thing.
Bill Clinton socialized with Epstein for years in the late 1990s and early 2000s, as did President Trump, who seemed to defend Clinton this week.
It bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton.
Epstein pled guilty to state charges of solicitation of prostitution with a minor in 2008. He killed himself in jail in 2019 before his federal sex trafficking trial began. Neither Clinton nor Trump are accused of a crime in connection with Epstein. In fact, the head of the FBI tells Fox it's unlikely anyone else will be charged either.
But we are always open to new information based on the release.
The Epstein fallout even stretches across the Atlantic, where British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is doing damage control after appointing Epstein pal Peter Mandelson as ambassador to the U.S.
He portrayed Epstein as someone he barely knew. And when that became clear, and it was not true, I sacked him.
The Clintons' agreement to testify will likely head off a House vote this week to hold the pair in contempt of Congress. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Austin is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, doing good.
Sculptures like the one behind me are being put up by Vision Carthage. I'm Ty Parks, and this week on Doing Good, we'll be speaking with Kate Kelly from Vision Carthage and ask her about all the different things they do for the city and how that story coming up.
News and weather. Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Some big changes heading into the forecast, and it all started today, actually. Check this out. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen temperatures well below normal at times. January 24th and 25th, we were more than 30 degrees below average. Only had seen 1 day above average in the past 2 weeks. Now, over the next 10 days, we're going to see temperatures above average and sometimes even well above average. Notice there, February 9th, we're going to see temperatures near 27 degrees above average. What's driving all this warmer weather? Well, Take a look at this ridge, massive ridge building off to our west here. We're going to see all the warm air really begin to flow in under this ridge over the next several days. What happens on the opposite side of that? Well, as that ridge rises, it forces the jet stream a little bit further up, even into Canada, which is going to cause the colder air to ride around this ridge, and we're going to see colder air into the upper Midwest, into the northeast there. So a large portion of the United States is seeing a warm up, but off to the northeast, they're actually going to see a polar vortex. So they're going to see much cooler temperatures. Lucky for us here in the 4 states, this warmer air going to continue for the next several days for us. Now, for tonight, temperatures fairly mild out there this evening, still in the 40s here by 10 o'clock. Clear skies out there expected throughout tonight, even as we head into those overnight hours. So if you do want to check out the moon tonight, not a bad night to do that. A great stargazing opportunity. The moon itself is about 84% visible in its waning gibbous phase here. Temperatures are going to fall overnight to around 36 degrees. Clear skies. Our next full moon, March 3rd, that's a Tuesday. Now, heading into Friday, temperatures are going to warm back up for us. Notice by our lunch hour into the upper 50s there. Now, it has us kind of stalling out there. I don't think that's really going to happen. A cold front is pushing through. That's why our winds shift out of the north here. But we have high pressure that's going to eat up a lot of this cloud cover and say, get out of here. And we're still going to be dealing with some sunny skies, still in the 40s as we hit those late evening hours tomorrow night. Now, what could potentially stop us from just breaking 60 degrees? It would be these winds. Check this out. As this front moves in, wind gusts around 30 miles per hour at times across the 4 states, and that really encompasses the whole region until about 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. Now, this weekend, also looking good. 61 degrees on Saturday, 66 on Sunday. It's going to be warm and breezy out there, but we're also going to see Sunday become a bit more cloudy, especially as we head into those evening hours. And what changes beyond the weekend? Well, some minor rain chances arriving. Check this out, 70 degrees on Monday. We get some rain chances beginning to move in late Monday night into Tuesday morning. Things becoming a little bit more widespread as we head into the later portion of the week. You'll notice that cold front really begins to move in as we hit 51 degrees on Thursday, all the way down to 44 by Friday, which is Valentine's Day there. 47 degrees on Saturday, heading into Sunday, 56 degrees. So we're back up after seeing temperatures fall late next week.
Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Arkansas rivers are facing mounting pressures from development and erosion, prompting State Senator Brian King to host a legislative committee meeting. Representing Arkansas's crown jewel waterways, King is pushing for a $25 million study to investigate gravel buildup, erosion, population growth, and development impacts along the rivers. And King says the key to success is bringing different groups together.
I hope that we can positively work together from diverse groups to try to be above board and transparent and try to work for different projects and take challenges that maybe one group has and problems and issues and see if we can't work on solutions and work together on it for better rivers and streams.
Learning from Illinois' rivers pollution fight, King aims for cooperation and solutions to keep Arkansas rivers clean and thriving. Still ahead, Galena and Southeast host double headers on the court. Those highlights next. Plus, the Warrior Classic continues with second round action in the boys bracket. We'll take a look at those games as well in sports.
Basketball, and even more basketball on this Thursday night with the Warrior Classic and league doubleheaders throughout the 4 states area. Tipping it off with the Warrior Classic, Macaulay Catholic battling Exeter. It's a close one in the fourth quarter with the Warriors up by 2. Connor Taffner working down low, rising and scoring the bucket, plus a foul for the and one to extend the lead. A couple possessions later, it's Gavin Anderson working in the post. Dribbles into the skyhook, sinking it to make a 6-point lead with under 6 minutes left. Macaulay in control now. Working the ball around as Marcus Marquin goes back to Anderson in the paint. Sophomore scores again. Macaulay Catholic cruises to a big win on their home court, 53-36 the final. The Sarcoxy Bears taking on Lighthouse Christian in Game 2 of the Thursday slate. First quarter, it's Gatlin Malott driving, dishing to a wide open Tyler Lambeth in the short corner. The junior sinks the jumper for 2. Bears back on the attack. It's Lambeth. He'll be facing a double team looking for some help, and he finds Hunter Whitledge open in the paint, who kisses it off the glass for the bucket. Now it's Whitledge's turn for the assist. A couple possessions later, he'll connect with Riley Barrios, who drains the catch and shoot jumper, but Sarcoxy can't hang with the Chargers, falling 57-38. In Galena, the Bulldogs hosting the Vikings of Northeast. In the first quarter was all Vikings. Haley Smarto drives baseline, kicking it to an open Addison Coates in the corner, and she buries the 3. A 7-0 run to start for Northeast. Second quarter was a different story, though. Bulldogs on the run. Madison Boys down court to Morgan Strong, who finds Mackenzie New for the easy layup down low. A couple possessions later, Galena pushing the pace. Once again, Boys to Riley Meyer, who gets it back to Boys on the give and go for 2. An 8-0 run for the Bulldogs to open the quarter, but a strong second half fuels the Vikings to a 36-25 win over Galena. The Bulldogs boys squad eyeing a bounce back win against the Vikings. Early first quarter, Galena leading, but not for long. Northeast working it back to Connor Hill on the wing, and the sophomore fires from deep, draining the 3 for the lead. Bulldogs looking to respond, and it's freshman Drayden Watson driving to the lane, going up and under for the right-handed finish. Final seconds of the first quarter, it's Chase Cottrell. He'll be driving, looking for somebody, swinging it to Jet Giesel, who gets it off before the buzzer. Nothing but net from the sophomores. Galena takes down Northeast at home, 55-30 the final. And in Cherokee, the Southeast Lancers back in action against Uniontown. First quarter, Kendall Wren collects the loose ball, takes off in transition, firing a pass down court to Zakiah Dickinson, who finishes for 2. Moving to the second quarter, it's Uniontown looking to respond with some pretty ball movement around the arc, as Clara Stock will dribble, drive, and find senior Ella Shelton on the wing for 3, and she cashes it. Lancers looking to copy with some strong ball movement of their own, and they will. Addie Uplike and Wren working it around before connecting with Dickinson down low, who lays in another. But the Eagles pick up the road win 35-30 in the final. The Lancers boys squad eyeing a second straight victory in the nightcap. Mid-first quarter, it's Southeast senior Zane Gabbard with the ball up top, puts the moves on and drives through contact for the right-handed finish. A couple possessions later, it's Tyler Warner this time, looking to continue the home team's hot start, dumping it down low to senior Garrett Berger, who outreaches the defender, finds himself home free for the Lancer bucket. Final moments of the first quarter, it's Eagles' Colton Powell dumping it off to Cole Harris, who threads his way between 2 defenders and uses the bank to get it done, but the Lancers defend home court with a 43-37 win. Some great games. I'm really liking what I saw out at Galena. Some fun matchups. That Northeast team, battle between really 2 young teams. Northeast, their girls squad got it done. Galena, it seems like they might have a talented freshman, Drayden Watson, too.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, you know, like between like Northeast and Galena, the girls win 1, the boys win 1, you know. And it's
nice to see a little split. Everybody's happy at the end of the day, besides Galena girls and Northeast boys, but fans went home happy.
Yeah, that's right. All right, thanks, Ryan. We're back with more news after this. A group of Carthage volunteers are working to preserve their city's historic beauty. In this week's Doing Good segment, KOAM's Ty Parks introduces us to a nonprofit that's making their community shine for residents and tourists alike.
For this week on Doing Good, we're looking at a nonprofit that seeks to brighten the city of Carthage.
Really, I think it's very unique in the sense that it has such a large historic home district. I mean, when people think of Carthage, I know for me personally, I think of those beautiful old homes on Grand Street.
Vision Carthage offers programs to help residents improve their homes.
So we have a very local focus, but we really do anything we can to make Carthage better, whether that involves flowers on the square.
With work days planned throughout the year where people can volunteer and plant flowers.
We're very involved with our local garden clubs and working with volunteers to beautify different spaces in the Carthage community. Public art, we have the beautiful new maple leaf sculpture that is there in the roundabout.
All of this to keep Carthage a shining city on the hill.
It's not just a surface level making things pretty. It's much deeper than that. It affects tourism. You know, Carthage is on historic Route 66. We have that anniversary year coming up, and people from all over the world come through Carthage, and we want it to be beautiful and special for them, something that they remember, that they want to stop and stay and shop and eat and play.
For Doing Good in Carthage, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Vision Carthage offers classes that people can take to take advantage of the home restoration programs. Well, up next, the Super Bowl hype.
Football fans are flocking to the Bay Area for Super Bowl 60. I'm Ashley Dvorkin in Santa Clara, California, with a look at all the action leading up to kickoff coming up.
The Super Bowl is 3 days away, but with so many pre-game events leading up to Sunday, the Bay Area is heating up with competition, fun, and excitement. Ashley Dvorkin is in Santa Clara, California with the latest.
Game day excitement is intensifying, with the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks both in town for Super Bowl 60. And as the teams prepare for the biggest game in football, coaches and players on both sides say they have some fierce competition ahead.
They're a really good offense. They're really complimentary. You got to be able to control the game and put it on our terms.
The Seattle team, they have a great team. They're here for a reason. It's going to be a great matchup.
Meanwhile, thousands of fans are also getting into the spirit with the help of family-friendly events like the immersive Super Bowl experience, full of games and special exhibits.
There's tons of people around, the music, the energy just feels really alive.
But safety measures are also heightened amidst the fun. The NFL's chief security officer says planning has been underway for a little more than 18 months. Technology experts have also converted space into a cybersecurity hub where they're scanning for any digital threats.
There are no known, specific, or credible threats to the Super Bowl or any of our related events.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a cooney pig at the San Francisco Zoo predicting this Sunday's Super Bowl winner. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.